Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Will Folkerts with Refuge at the First United Methodist Church in Sheraton. I hope this finds you well and that you have had a good week. And if not, don't worry, the sunshine is on its way. So, I don't know about you, but I feel like I've been all over the place lately in regards to my mood and emotions. It's kind of like a roller coaster. There are some days that I feel like I can tackle the world, and there are other days where I can barely get off the couch. And sometimes those couch days, they seem to be happening a little bit more and more lately. I, and don't get me wrong, I do feel very blessed um, to be where I am in the world right now, especially with this COVID-19 thing that's going on. Um, but I feel like COVID-19 has left a giant scar on my emotions, um, and that I feel it's going to be a long time before I truly recover from this. Um, let's talk about scars for a moment, because just in general, they're an interesting topic. A scar forms as the result of some type of wound to the body. The intensity of a scar is related to the intensity of the wound, kind of a correlation there. The formation of a scar is actually part of a healing process, and sometimes it can take a long time for the scar to form, and most times even longer for the pain to stop. And that kind of goes with the idea that like healing hurts, um, which is weird to think about it because healing's supposed to make you feel better, but a lot of times it hurts along the way. And scar tissue never feels like it did before the wound happened. And for me, scar tissue can do a lot of weird things. For example, I have a scar right above my right eye from an accident with a trampoline spring when I was a kid. I had to have stitches, and that scar hurt for years after the skin had healed. It was weird. It would ache and ache, giving me headaches sometimes. It wasn't every day, but it would just be kind of like randomly, it would hurt for like a week and then it would stop. Another weird thing is that it would often hurt when a storm front moved in, which is really weird. So like I always kind of knew when like a storm was coming because it would hurt right here. And I don't know if that had to do with like the pressure change in the storm, but it was weird to me. It hurts rarely now, but occasionally it reminds me that it's there. And that's kind of that interesting thing about a scar is a lot of times it serves as a reminder of what happened. And there are different types of scars, different types of scarring that can happen to the body. Physical scars happen from physical wounds. I'm currently the proud, and I say proud, new owner of two soon to be scars on my hand. I don't know if you can see it, but I had an accident yesterday involving a watermelon and a knife, and it cut me really deep. And I'm not actually proud of it because I was not being as careful as I should have been. But in a couple of weeks, there's going to be a visible line to remind me of this mistake that I made yesterday for the rest of my life. Um, yeah, they're going to be pretty big scars. Probably should have had stitches, but I was being stubborn. Um, and physical scars are not what I totally want to focus on today. It's the scars that can't be seen by others, and those are emotional scars. Um, that, especially if these emotional scars, if they go unchecked, can wreak havoc on a person. It can kind of play an influence in that roller coaster I was talking about, having those ups and downs, depending on how your emotional scar is doing that day. And for me, these last 3 months with COVID have let have left a lot of emotional scarring on me. And like I said, being in southern Iowa, I'm very lucky compared to some of the other places in the world, um, especially like no leave orders, like you can't leave your house, and we're lucky to still be able to go outside and have some of our freedoms returned to us. But I found myself floundering in a sea of uncertainty during these last 3 months. And don't get me wrong, like I said, there's a lot of people that have it far worse, and I don't want to complain. Um, but nonetheless, that emotional scarring is still there. I mean, for example, I temporarily lost 2 jobs. I had to pack up a classroom, so like I'm a teacher, I had to pack up a classroom from an unfinished and unfulfilled school year. Usually, when I pack up my classroom, it's kind of like a sweet and sour moment, like sweet as in like a job well done, but sour that you get to say goodbye to the kids that you learned to love over the last year. I didn't get to say goodbye this year, and that left an emotional scar on me. And I just remember sitting there as I shut my light off, just thinking like, oh, that was it. And it kind of ruined my day that day. Um, I've tried to educate myself on this virus, but to no avail. I'm not entirely sure what information to believe anymore or what to trust, because it almost changes daily. What comes out one day can completely be the opposite another day. Um, and I was told to stay home because it was the safest thing for me and my family. And I have felt worthless as a provider for my family. And these are all results of just these last 3 months. And it's kind of like I said, it's that mental scarring, that emotional scarring. It's been a very emotional 3 months. But like I could go on, but I won't, because I know that the Lord is good and He will continue to take care of me. Um, Yet these still remain inside, and my anxiety is spent most days. Like I'm a worrier, always have been, and there's just a lot of times that I worry way too much. And as things continue to open and the quarantine is relaxed more and more, um, it's hard to remember that not everybody is ready to return to the way things were, because of these emotional scars. I personally suffer from anxiety every single time I leave the house to go anywhere, to get groceries. And it's like right before I get out of my truck, I have to take a deep breath because of everything that's happened in the last three months, and just breathe and have to remember that I am okay. Um, Never have I ever wanted to avoid people, but now it's like ingrained in my brain to do so, and it's hard to shake that feeling, even with my own family. And with all of this uncertainty and this emotional scarring, God brought my attention to a very powerful psalm this week, in a very powerful song. So a psalm and a song. I'll talk about both of them. And the psalm is Psalm 23. It's probably one of the most famous psalms there is. It's the Psalm of David. And it says, "The Lord is my shepherd. I have all that I need. He lets me rest in green meadows, and He leads me beside peaceful streams. He renews my strength. He guides me along the right paths, bringing honor to His name. Even when I walk through the darkest valley," and believe me, a lot of us are doing that right now. So even though I walk through that darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me. You prepare a feast for me in the presence of my enemies. You honor me by anointing my head with oil. My cup overflows with blessings. Surely your goodness and unfailing love will pursue me all the days of my life, and I will live in the house of the Lord forever. I've always found that psalm to be very powerful, but I feel like it speaks very true right now with this idea of emotional scarring, especially that part in the verse where it says, "Though I walk through the darkest valley." And like I said, there are a lot of people walking through that valley right now. There's a lot of emotional scarring that is happening, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of depression, and kind of learning to live with COVID-19. That's been kind of my wife and I's motto, is we're trying to learn to live with it instead of fear it. I mean, we still have to take precautions, but we're trying to learn to live with COVID. And I find myself walking through that valley, sometimes daily, not every day, but I can literally be in the greatest mood at 1 o'clock, and when 2 comes, it's like it switches, it flips over, and I'm in that dark valley again. And if you are in that shadow right now, that dark valley, I urge you not to lose hope, but rather seek refuge in the one who calls us all by name, the one who walks beside us, who carries us through those uncertain times, the one who encourages us to dig our roots deep within his love and understanding and his steadfastness. God understands that scars take time to heal, and we're all experiencing those right now. I want to leave you today with the realization that hit me in the face the other day. I was eating dinner with my family, and we were listening to TobyMac, as we do often. We do it very frequently. Eleanor loves to sing and dance to that music, and it's just a joy to watch her. And TobyMac's song "Scars" came on. If you've never heard of it, look it up. It is so impactful right now, and I feel like it'll speak to a lot of people. Scars came on, as it has dozens of times before. I've heard it a lot, especially in the last 3 months. But for the first time, there was a lyric in there that caught me off guard and made me think in a way I hadn't before. I always found it really interesting that a song that you've heard so many times can all of a sudden mean something entirely new when the lyrics are finally heard. The song goes like this, and like TobyMac kind of raps it. I'm not going to rap it, but I'll just read the lyrics. It says, "When life cuts so deep, try and remember you are not alone. We've all been there. Scars come with living. You are not alone. We've all been there. So lift your head. Lift your head to where your help comes from. Yeah, you are not alone. We've all been there. Scars come with living." And now, so here's kind of where he raps. It says, "Life ain't got no sequel. We are all broken people. The only road to found is lost. Oversimplifying, ain't no shame in trying. Passion never counts the cost. Scars come with living." And just like that, those 4 words, "scars come with living," meant something entirely new to me, because it helped me to understand that I'm undergoing this emotional scarring, which is where my anxiety is coming from. That phrase, "scars come with living," hit me so hard because it reminded me that not only am I carrying these scars, everyone is. We all carry scars. Wounds that we experience in life, some that take a long time to heal from, physical and even especially emotional scars. They can take sometimes a lifetime to heal. So if you are healing right now and still feel the pain from a scar, just remember you're not alone. Okay? We all have been there. God is with us, and most importantly, scars come with living. Have a great week.